Measuring and fitting. We are now going to cover how to measure and how to fit your diabetic patient with our Stride Lite and Stride Lite Sport shoes. Measuring and fitting diabetic footwear is more of an art than a science. We will now go over the proper technique of using the Brannock device. You need to have the order form with the patient's name, date, and time. The Brannock is able to measure both male, blue, and female, pink, feet. There are 3 measurements that will be needed: heel to toe, heel to ball, and the width. These measurements are needed to provide the patient with the proper fit. Start by having the patient remove both shoes. As shown, place the right foot onto the heel cup. You can use your hand to ensure that the heel is up against the cup. The patient should be standing and the foot is straight on the Brannock. Looking straight down at the foot, we then take the measurement from the longest toe, whichever is the longest toe, not necessarily the great toe. Write that number on the heel to toe length on your order form. After measuring the heel to toe, you are going to measure the heel to ball, arch length. Place your thumb on the ball joint of the foot. While the patient is still standing with their foot straight, slide the pointer forward so the inside curve of the pointer fits the ball joint of the foot and the 2 high points come in contact with your thumb. When the pointer is properly located, the lower middle of it should be against the ball joint on the side of the foot. This yields the arch measurement. This arch measurement is then written on the right foot length. Usually the arch measurement is greater than the heel measurement. The larger length is the measurement that will be used to determine the width. However, if you have a difference of 2 sizes, then you would use the middle. For example, if the heel to toe length measures 10 and the heel to ball measures 12, then we could use the middle of 10 and 12, which is 11, to determine the width. To determine the width, place the width bar gently against the side of the foot. Then use the middle measurement to see what width it points to. If this is between letters, take the larger size on a thick, fleshy foot. If it was a narrower foot, use the smaller size. When completed, write this in the width box for the right foot. Now you repeat the process for the left foot. After measuring the left foot, take note if there is anything such as hammer toes, bunions, swollen feet, or high insteps. If there are hammer toes, bunions, or swollen feet, they might need a half size wider. If there is a high instep, they might need a half to 1 size longer, depending on the type of starter kit purchased. If you have selected the Platinum, it lists all the styles plus all the sizes from 6.5 to 14 in a wide shoe. You should try on the size that fits the longest foot if the shoe fits the length. However, if it is too tight in the width, you would want to order an extra wide width. If the shoe fits too loose, you should order a medium. Remember, the shoes are all unisex, female, male. Once you have determined the proper size and width, you will then have the patient determine the style and color. The beauty of the Platinum program is that the patient can feel and see the shoe for him or herself. After the patient has selected the style and color, you will then check off the appropriate box and the number of inserts. Have the patient sign and date along with the shoe fitter. When measuring with the Ritz stick, you will measure both feet just like with the Brannock. Because 85% of the people in this country have one foot larger than the other, we always measure to the biggest toe, which is not always the great toe. The patient needs to be standing, total weight, leaving legs shoulder length apart. The Ritz stick, when measuring the length, should be touching the inside of the foot. Never have the patient stand on the stick. Measure both the length with women's on the right and men's on the left. When measuring the width, measure at the bunion joint, which is the widest part of the foot. Again, men's length on the left side and women's length on the right side. The whole number is the large line across from the number. To determine proper width, read the chart on the reverse side of the Ritz stick. Find the length on the chart and then read down to the number width and across to the size, A to 4E. If the length is a half size measurement, go to the next whole size larger and proceed to read down the chart for the correct width determination. You will need to maintain this order form in the file until the Certificate of Medical Necessity is received from either the MD or the DO. The same process for measuring the patient is in place with the Gold package. The major difference is that there is no shoe to try on for the right fit. With the Platinum kit, we have noticed a major reduction in the number of returns, since you have shoes on display for them to try on for the right fit. We ship UPS. When your shoes arrive, they will have the patient's name. You need to verify the proper style, color, size, and number of inserts. Remove all papers and the original inserts and place the orthotic inserts in the shoes. Have the patient come back to be fitted for shoes roughly the same time the measuring took place. When the patient comes in, use a shoehorn to have the patient try on the shoes to allow for a proper fit through 3/8 inches to 1/2 inch from the longest toe to the front of the shoe. You want to be sure that there is plenty of toe room. The width should be snug, not too tight. Once you establish that the shoe fits properly, you will then need to heat the inserts. You need to bring out the heating gun, the foam pad, the arch fillers, plus heel, toe, and tongue pads. Remember, the insert needs to maintain total contact with the foot, including arch, even during gait. To heat the insert, you will need to use the heat gun over the insert's top and bottom until pliable. Once you accomplish that, then place the insert on the foam and place the patient's foot on the insert. With your hand, you need to form the insert to the arch. Once you complete this, you will need to do this with all 3 pairs. After cooling, place the inserts on a hard surface and have the patient place their foot on the insert. If the patient has a high arch, place arch filler in shoe to retain contact with the high arch. Inserts can be rotated per protocol. If you use a toaster oven instead of the heat gun, set the temperature at 230 degrees and put the inserts in for approximately 1 to 1 1/2 minutes.